Norway Chess begins on Monday and it should be a fabulous tournament. 10 of the world's strongest players are taking part, including world champion Magnus Carlsen, his challenger in November, Fabiano Caruana, last year's winner, Levon Aronian, Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, Wesley So, Nakamura, and so on. Great tournament as ever. There was one player who was a little bit disappointed not to be invited, and that was Anish Giri. When the invitations went out a few months ago, he was kind of bobbling on the edge of the top 10 in the world, but he didn't make the cut. Now, since then, he has been playing very well indeed. And as is his style, he made a couple of jokey, pokey tweets suggesting that perhaps it was his prickly relationship with Magnus Carlsen that was the reason why he hadn't been invited. Personally, I don't believe the Norway chess organisers are so petty. Nevertheless, he's out the tournament. But he had a chance to prove a point this week. On Thursday, there was the playoff match in the German Bundesliga, the German National League, between Baden-Baden and Solingen. And Giri was brought in to play for Solingen on top board, and he faced Fabiano Caruana. So I'd like to take you through what happened in the latter half of this game. Giri with white, and Caruana played his favourite Petrov that brought him such success in the Candidates and in the Grenka Classic as well. And, well, we joined the game after 30 moves, and it's a very typical Petrov position, actually, where white has a nice centre with a pawn. But black is very solid, a very regular pawn structure. And if you feed this position into a computer, it will tell you that the position is equal. However, from a human point of view, I think this is not so clear. I think it's a much easier position for white to play than black. Because with these pawns on light squares and this bishop here, this could be problematic later on in some endgames. Also, I mean, the queen is superbly placed. Black has to decide, you know, what do you do about that? Do you just live with the queen there? I mean, another thing is, do you throw these pawns up the board? But potentially that could create a weakness on c6. And when this queen can look in both directions, it's a little bit worrying to create weaknesses. So, yeah, black has to make a big decision here. Caruana played knight d6, which seems okay. The knight is plonked in the middle of the board. But now Giri played king f2, and this is a strong move. Well, let's see why. After king g8, he now played g4. This was the point of playing the king to the side, and of course he wants to weaken this pawn here, so Caruana exchanged. And the reason the king went to f2 was that the queen can't take with check, so if it takes here, then white takes the knight. And white has obviously gained by this pawn advance, because what he wants to do is attack the king. And actually the bishop and queen are superbly placed. That bishop can switch between these two diagonals to get at the king. And there's a very obvious pawn advance with h5 that Giri now played. And from this moment on, black's position is extremely difficult. So for example, if b5, it's always tempting to play this move, but bishop c2 targeting the pawn on g6, and basically black is not going to be able to hold his position together when the g6 pawn is weak, but also the knight is weak. The queen has to keep hold of both of those points and simply can't do that. And that's why Caruana played f6 and then brought the king to g7. But of course, playing f6 really opens up black's king, and this queen is just brilliantly placed on e6. It seems to me that over the last few moves, Caruana wasn't really playing with a clear plan. and that maybe instead of knight d6, he should have tried advancing the pawns with b5 and a5. In any case, Giri is now in control, and Black's problem here is that he has very few moves. Again, he has a dilemma. Do you advance this pawn here? But actually that creates a weakness on c6, a further weakness, and it's not clear what the advance achieves now. So Caruana took. Now maybe he's going to have to move that pawn or exchange at some point, but from this moment on Black's king is in huge trouble. And now very nice delicate maneuvering from Giri. He can see that actually Black really can't do anything in this position, and so what he does is he puts his king on the safest square. And this position is a kind of Zugzwang now. So let me give you a few alternatives for Black. So, okay, what happens if pawn to b5? Then queen g4, threatening mate on g6, of course. And now bishop g6. We don't want to play queen f4 check, because if queen g5, then the queen comes in. So this is the danger in this position. White has to be very careful. But bishop g6 is an excellent move. And the point is, we're now threatening queen f4 check with a fork. When the knight returns here. So again, this is a kind of Zugzwang position. Black is just really short of moves. And if, let's say, knight g5, then bishop e8. And that highlights how White is playing on both sides of the board. Obviously, we would like to take on c6. And Black simply can't defend on the king side. Remember, the queen is always wanting to get in on g6 with checkmate. So Black can't defend both king side and queen side simultaneously. Okay, another alternative. What happens if Black just continues shuffling with the knight? Bishop d3. This is a clever move. Now queen g4. It's the same as before, actually. Threatening mate. And in this case, you don't actually need to play bishop g6. You can play queen check. Take the knight. And that's why the bishop came to d3, because after queen check, everything is safe. So that's why Giri was so careful in shuffling back with his king. I think he appreciated very well that his king would be safer there. He's a superb technical player. So this is the key position. King f2 just played. And Caruana played b6. But he's still in a kind of Zugzwang here. Giri came forward. Now, if b5, once again, we have this queen g4 move and queen f4. And if knight b5, this is very nice. d5 is a nice breakthrough. Takes, and queen d7, threatening check, check, and checkmate. Trust me, it works. And also threatening the knight. So with an extra piece, should be winning. So after king f3, Caruana played knight e8. He's in Zugzwang. Takes. So let's see, what's the score? The score is 1 up for White now, and now it's 2 up. So it's just a technical win now. And the queen comes back for more. Queen g8, threatening queen g6 mate. That's a check. And now the king actually goes forward. Of course, all this had to be calculated very carefully. But the king is actually completely safe here. Notice the knight is actually out of play. And after this, Caruana resigned. So it's now 3 pawns, and the king is still in huge trouble. If check, well, I dare say you can play queen e6. That's probably the simplest. I think basically forcing exchange of queens, because there's going to be this is on, and the king in trouble as well. So that was the final position. Beautiful technical win by Anish Giri, and yes, he's proved a point, and he's now number 9 on the live rating list. But still, it's a fantastic lineup in Norway Chess, and the PowerPlayChess channel will be covering every round, so look out for my reports over the next few days. As I said, it starts on Monday, and if you want to have a look at previous years, then do look at the playlists up there. You'll see them in the info tab and in the video description as well, and you can find playlists by all the top players playing in the Norway Chess tournament. And do let me know, who do you think is going to win Norway Chess this year? Of course, you can go to the official site, Norway Chess 2018, and see exactly who's playing. So do let me know. Thanks for watching.